The word print is a generic term that refers to many different ways in which an artist makes a matrix from which multiple impressions can be pulled. Those print processes differ from each other in terms of the materials that the artist uses to make the matrix. However, it's important to note that these are not reproductions, that these are all images that are made by the artist directly on the matrices from which we print the edition.
I mean, it's fairly simple. I mean, it's based on the principle of water and grease don't mix. And so, you know, the artist draws on the stone or the plate with a grease substance, whether it's a dry pencil or a liquid, which we call tush, which is grease mixed with water or solvents, and painted onto the stone or plate. And then that stone or plate gets what we call etched. In lithography, it's all what we call planographic. It's all on the surface. It's a chemical reaction that takes place on the stone. It's not a physical reaction. So once the printer etches the stone, then the drawing material gets washed out. It gets replaced by the ink in the printer's roller. And as long as you keep that stone or plate wet with water, the ink will only stick to where the artist drew. And that's basically the basis of lithography.
When artists are invited by Tamarind for publishing purposes, both Bill and I will work with that artist and try to help the artist negotiate a pathway through the medium of lithography to create an image that they want or images that they like. Working with artists is always different. Every artist has different needs, and you have to, again, quickly intuit a kind of a common language for efficient communication in order to get a pretty large task done in a short amount of time. We typically give the artist a test stone, and we just encourage them to experiment and try, particularly if they're new to the process. And that helps them kind of start feeling comfortable in a strange alien space and with new materials. And it also helps the printer, and it helps us get a sense of how they're going to lay down material, and gives us a kind of a trial run when we go and etch and process the stone or aluminum plate to get a sense of what's successful or what's not.
Beginning, when I wasn't quite sure, you know, how much to put on the stone, Bill would kind of come in and say, keep going and keep going, you know, so it's very kind of positive reinforcement, and but also really helpful, so you're just not struggling. So I feel like the minute I walked in, I felt totally comfortable and was able to work in the studio for like 12 hours a day. You know, it's kind of a luxury that's afforded artists to have this sort of, you know, quiet time and space to really focus on your work.
So when an artist is here, they sign off on a bonature, which is the approval to print. And then after they leave, the actual edition is printed. Because it takes a while between each layer of ink, you need to wait for it to dry before you can put the second one on, and so forth. So after the edition is printed, it comes upstairs, and I match each impression with the bonature. And if it doesn't match, then I tear it up, and it's not included in the edition. The other part is maintaining all of the documentation that goes along with the print, so that, say if a conservator needed to repair something, or if a customer wanted to purchase a print, they really know what they're getting.